again, didn't really put off the coffee date, but for me it was just like, okay, I don't really see the purpose or why we should have a coffee
Yeah,
date.
you don't see it. Like it's just
I
like
think
it
that's
seems
really,
like you can only go down. Like there's only something to lose. There's not really too much to gain.
yeah,
Well, I'm
yeah,
just calling it what it is, right? Like yeah,
yeah,
like she's married. Like there's nothing to gain.
no,
And
yeah,
then yeah, like what kind of
yeah.
scam is at play now?
You're right, bro. Like, there's nothing to gain in that situation, but just everything to lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
like
I was just like, no, no. Well, I mean, I didn't say anything. I was just like,
include
oh,
your
okay, cool.
organs.
I don't know what I said to her, but I just brushed it off and um, stopped communicating with her. I've got a, I've got a quick question for you, right? So with the business that the business that you're building, right? Uh, what are some of the? Do you think you would have built it this far if you were just in Canada? What are the comparisons, between you now building your business, been at a bunch of, like different places, compared to if you were just building it and you were just in Canada? Do you think there's a difference there? And if there is, do you think you at is the stuff that you've learned that you've now just maybe implemented into your, or let's just say like YouTube, say for instance, do you think you would have started your YouTube, um, had it not been for you traveling for a little bit?
I think yeah, I definitely wouldn't have built it to this point because yeah, in Canada, like it just wasn't the right environment to build it in. Everyone around me is kind of telling me like not to do this and try to like telling me to stay in the job and start to like build that up slowly, build your career up slowly, get a mortgage. Like my parents were trying to push me to do that kind of thing, get a government job, like level up from the bank to the government. So, it's like,
Yeah,
even when I was there, it's like I'm constantly being pushed to these kind of things and being told not to pursue the business. They kind of don't see that as like a valid thing to do. So it's just in the
yeah,
environment, my parents, my cousins, the people around me, I'm stuck with like my old friends. Um, I'm stuck with like, thinking I'm in the environments where I keep thinking about, the girl I was with before. So it's just like, it's not a, first of all, it's not a good place for growth of a business mindset because of the people around me. But secondly, it's not a new change, right? So I'm still in the same place I was when I was 3 years old, 5 years old. So
yeah,
I just needed the change to really level up and kind of focus and lock in to like experience that.
yeah. No, that's true. That's the I think you would have been a little bit stagnant, right? Had you just been like at home, because everyone is like the total opposite of you. I think
Mm.
it's Canada, and I'll probably say like South Africa as well, very, very career driven environment. But what you end up getting is that a lot of people, you'd be lucky if you become a career person. I think there's a difference between being a career person and just having a job. So I think a lot of people, or like a huge portion of people, just have jobs. A lot of people just have jobs, and they use those jobs to get by, right? You get by with a job, right? Like you get a paycheck and pay a couple of bills, get a couple of takeaway, things like that, back
Hmm.
to the grind and all of that. But then obviously with how you've built your business now, I think it's, just a little bit forward, because then you get to get a bunch of other people that, are more sort of doing the same thing that you're doing. Maybe not content wise, but then they're also creating content. They they they've got a school online, they're selling something, just people that are just the same as you, basically.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like you put yourself. For me, I take less about that before. Like I think I know what you mean when you're meeting people who are also kind of on the grind. It kind of motivates you and inspires you. And yeah,
Yeah,
that definitely does help. I'd say like, but for me, it's not a big deal. But I think for me,
yeah,
the bigger thing is just the environment change. Like you just
yeah.
yeah. Have you ever heard the term burn all the boats? You got to burn all the boats.
Ban all the boats? No,
Yeah.
I've never heard of it.
I would say I didn't do it yet, but basically, burn all the boats is like, you see it sometimes on social media where it's kind of like people are getting motivated to do something new. Like, for example, the things we're doing, like starting a business. And basically, what burn all the boats means is like you basically have to go all in. You have to make it so that you don't have an exit plan. Like,
Got you.
I don't have a backup plan if this fails. So I wouldn't say I
Yeah.
burned all the boats yet, but if you don't have that backup plan, it just commits you so much more. And I think I'm getting close to the point where I'm gonna burn all the boats, and that's gonna be like the all or nothing, do or die. Like it's gonna be life altering, like whether I make it or not. So basically,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's
In a way, like I'm not
yeah.
saying I
Continue.
burned all the boats, but making that big move is in a way it's burning a lot of at least boats back there.
Yeah, that's actually quite interesting. That's actually quite interesting. But I think it's also a nice sort of tip to have. Um, I think obviously when you hustling, when you building a business, you don't want to build the business with the mindset of or if it fails, I can still do one, two, three, four, five, six. Because I
Yeah,
think that just sort of leaves room for you might not do things to your ultimate level or ultimate capability to
exactly.
doing those things, right?
Yeah,
But like if
you
you
don't
ban
want
all
to
the
be like
balls, it's
that.
like fuck, there's no going back.
Hmm.
There's nothing outside of what I'm doing that I can just grab onto or jump onto that will sort of still pay me, the same sort of way that this is paying me and all of that, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah, so I totally I think that's a nice way to it's a nice one has to look at that just more than just a word or like a term. You gotta hustle, that has to be like a verb, burn all the boats, you know.
Yeah.
You gotta look at that as a verb in some sort of sense. You gotta do whatever that you're doing at your fullest capacity. If you're saying that you've bent all the boats or you're abandoning all the boats, because if you just look at it as a term or just any other word, you'll find that you again have bent all the boats, but at the same time you didn't put in your all into whatever that your hustle is, and now you're looking at like in hindsight or like somewhere in your hustle and just oh my god, you know,
Yeah, like
yeah,
you don't want
I
to be
bent all
like,
the boats and there's no going back.
yeah. You're saying like, yeah, you gotta really experience it. Like, you can't just be like something you're saying. You can't
You
just be
gotta look
like,
at it as a verb, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like I look at that like people when say, remember, I don't know if you know the trend winter arc. Like if you heard that when people are like, yo, I'm gonna lock in this winter. I'm gonna like grind, hit the gym, and then so next year
yeah,
in the
yeah,
summer, you know winter arc, right? Like I feel like a lot of people just say it and they don't actually do it. Like they just get like this fake like motivation and they don't do it. And burn all the boats. Yeah, it can very easily become like just fake motivation instead of actually something you're doing, like a verb, like you said.
yeah.
And yeah,
Just
I
another
mean,
time. Yeah, I've got you.
it's so important. Like, yeah, I feel like, for example, people who are just like, oh, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna do it for like 6 months, and then if it doesn't work out, I'll go back. It's hard to see that working. It's hard to see that working. It's like
It is.
you're not 10 toes in. You're not fully committed if you say something like that.
Yeah, and I think also speaking about like the YouTube grind. Uh,
Oh yeah, it's a very
what
long
did you
game.
what did you say, right? Because I think we're speaking offline, and I said, and I was like, and I think I was more posing the thing to you because you are much more of an expert, like on YouTube, But I was saying like I think people normally say that your first 100 subscribers, like they're your most difficult ones,
Hmm.
and anything just over and above that just becomes not just like smooth sailing, uh, but it becomes a little bit less harder, if I can put it in that sense.
Yeah, yeah. Like I think, yeah, just that it kind of just goes to show, yeah, like at the start, always going to be harder. It's going to be harder to get your first 100 subscribers than it is going to be, going from the 900 to 1,000. Like that 100 is going to go a lot easier, a lot faster compared to, your first 100 where you're still like, you know, finding your way into the algorithm, finding your way into your niche, figuring out, how to stay consistent, how to make good content, how to make thumbnail, all these things, at the start it's like so much work for so little gain, and then slowly as it goes, you get better and better results. And then I think it's the same with money in business too. The first dollar might take a really long time, might take a lot of effort to get to that point. But now once you start getting money, now it's like, okay, you're getting testimonials, you have proof that that what you're doing is working. Now your channels are growing, your social outreach is growing, and now things are
Yeah.
snowballing. And now it's like okay, now you're starting to get more and more results from that.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you like one specific question about that, right? So would you say your first 100 subscribers are difficult to get compared to your first 1,000 subscribers?
First 100 compared to first 1,000, I would
Yeah.
say.
Which one is? Yeah.
I mean, I would say 1,000 is still harder because it's just so much more. We had to get all the way to a
Okay.
thousand compared to 100 is just 100. It's definitely a
100.
milestone. Yeah, but yeah, it's only 100, right? So it's definitely a milestone, but I would say 1,000 is, a lot of people don't get to 1,000. I would say a lot of people who do try will probably get 100. A lot of people who try will not get to 1,000. I'm not at 1,000 yet myself. I'm at 800 right now. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I'll
it.
probably just round that off and say, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. And what type of music are you listening to? Do you listen to?
Music.
Yeah, it's like generally.
Generally, I listen to funk, like the
Yeah.
Brazilian, the the funk, right? It's like a hype, upbeat. I listen to that.
Is this like Bad Bunny? Bad Bunny?
You don't know funk? It's like
Oh,
they'll. I gotta show you some funk songs. It's like they basically take a Brazilian song, but they like speed it up and like they'll put like hard bass and stuff. It goes like hard. It's a really good. They're really hype songs for like the gym and stuff. They get you really
yeah.
motivated. It's kind of a newer
Are you
genre.
listening to music though? Like so when you and I'll be honest with you, I don't listen to me. I listen to hip hop. Obviously I think you know that.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't listen to music if I'm on the road. I hardly ever listen to music. Unless if someone else is playing it, then I'll listen to it. So what are you listening to? When you listen, are you listening to funk music?
Yeah, I listen to funk music. I listen to um, rap sometimes, although I feel like Spotify doesn't really promote it as much as it should, maybe because of the swearing and stuff. Um, yeah. So basically, mostly funk, and then I'll listen to a bunch of other random stuff. Like I was actually listening to country today. I don't know. I was just bored, right? So switching it up.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't optimize my Spotify or anything like that. So, and I feel like it's kind of not giving me the stuff that I want. I might have to switch back to YouTube at some point. Um,
Did you listen to? Remember we spoke a little bit last time about Kanye.
yeah.
Did you give him a listen, or did
Uh,
you go like look into whatever that is going on?
I did not. No, I did not. I know you were telling me about it, but I didn't look into it yet. What happened? Was it a more significance?
So he dropped an album.
Uh
It's
huh.
called Bully.
Uh huh.
Um, it's number one. Well, I mean it's number two on the Billboard. Like normally, like what when you drop an album, they'll there's a number that will come out at the end of the week to say Beach sold so many units, like
Hmm.
in his first week, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And when they say you sold so many units, it's not only about like physical sales. It's also about like streams. I don't know in terms of how they calculate the streams, but there's some sort of calculation or metric to it to say every time a person or people listen to the song, and an amount of times that will equal a purchase or something like that.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So yeah, so he dropped an album. It's called Bully. But again, keep in mind this guy was apparently cancelled, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that's why I
Uh,
never heard it yet.
no, he's not cancelled.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I don't know why you haven't heard of it, but I think if you just like one or two posts about Kanye on Instagram, you'll see that 60-80% of Instagram for the last couple of days has just been like Kanye type of content.
Oh, really?
You know, yeah, it's got a song like a viral song like in the album as well. It's called All the Love. which people have just been making shorts. One of the a trend. What do they call it? People have been making a reaction video to the song to say this is like the song of the decade and all those sort of things, right? To top it up, so he dropped the album. It's number 2, or it's on the Billboard. I don't know which album is number 1, but Gamma, the record label that represents Kanye, say that the numbers that Billboard has are wrong, and that his album is actually the biggest album for that week in terms of sales.
Okay.
Because they're saying that it sold over 200 units and all those sort of things. But then to top it up, he went and performed at the SoFi Stadium. And the amount of people that purchased the tickets, which was 80,000 people first night, second night as well, 80,000 people. Apparently, there's never been any other artist, including Taylor Swift, that sold so many tickets for an event.
Okay.
Yeah. Right, so that happens. So he's supposed to perform at the Wireless, I think they call it the Wireless Festival, which is in the UK.
Okay.
But I tell, bro, like the Prime Minister of the UK is trying to get this guy banned from coming into the country.
Oh, wow.
They're saying it's not supposed to come through. Pepsi was a sponsor. They pulled out. They pulled out as a sponsor. Another brand called Diego. I don't know what the brand is. I think it's a spirit brand, if I'm not mistaken. Diego pulled out as a sponsor. And another brand as well pulled out as well. About 3 brands pulled out. But at the same time, there's like a full video of like the minister of the UK saying, "Oh no, Kanye is not supposed to come through here because he's anti-Semitic."
Okay, so don't they have freedom? Oh yeah, I guess UK doesn't have freedom of speech. Yeah, they took that.
So they still trying to blackball him, or they still trying to, I guess, like limit him, or yeah. But then we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Whether he's still going to headline the event, because again, like sponsors are pulling out now, so we're not sure as to how that's going to transpire, basically.
Okay, I see.
But yeah, this is just going back to like me, again telling you that like this guy's like the biggest artist in the world and all those sort of things.
Yeah, and I think it goes to show like you can try to cancel somebody, and it doesn't really work. Like it doesn't, like people are still going to. Like you only get canceled if you allow yourself to get canceled. If you're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean it," like that kind of stuff. Then it's like, okay, you're canceled. Like no one wants to deal with you anymore. But I think it also goes to show like the influence that Kanye has is greater. Even if the likability is lower, like even if half the population doesn't like him, his influence is greater than, for example, Taylor Swift. I don't really hate Taylor Swift. I don't care about her. But that's kind of the thing, right? Like she doesn't have any influence because she doesn't really stand for anything. Whereas Kanye, he has very strong viewpoints on certain things, and he's very authentic and genuine and passionate about that. And I think that's important because, even though, yes, you do get a lot of downsides, people hate you for that, people try to cancel you, people are trying to ban you from countries, it means that, the people who do resonate with their message, they just love you that much more, they just trust you that much more, they understand you, and you just have so much more influence because of that.
Yeah, no, I think you're definitely right, bro. So I think the thing about Kanye that makes Kanye is because he stands for something, and he's a vulnerable communicator as well. He's not one of those type of people that will try something look cool if it's not cool. This is the same guy that went on to like live TV and went off script and said George Bush does not like black people. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those people that he'll say what he feels or what he feels is right or thinks is right, but it's not gonna be about something if he does not think that particular thing is cool. But I think a lot of people will then fall within the category of just making good songs, dope songs, but there's nothing authentic about it, you know, or there isn't anything real which maybe resonates with like an ordinary person somewhere, whereby you can sort of like find some sort of like relatable factor between yourself and that superstar. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Sure,
yeah.
yeah, Taylor Swift, I think makes great songs. I think so. I don't know. Uh,
I don't know. I think so. I don't know.
I'm not 1,000% sure, but I don't think. I think people. I don't like. There isn't anything that she stands for. You know, which people could say, "Oh, we like this about Taylor Swift." You know, because this is the same thing that we think as well about that whatever that thing is. You know, like I'm sure there's a lot of people that used to
Yeah,
think like George Bush is maybe racist or does not like black people, but then they don't have like the same sort of a platform as a Kanye. So when a Kanye says that, it's like, oh wow,
yeah,
he's saying that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Um,
But
yeah. That's
quick question as well, right?
uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, I was just gonna say like that's why I related, like, you want to find the relatability in music. So like, for example, me, I really like the old school hip hop. They talk about like drugs and gangs and stuff. Like, obviously I wasn't part of that, but I feel I related to, like, for example, when they talk about being very hungry and like, yo, I don't have anything and no one really believes in me, that kind of stuff. Like, I really relate to
Yeah, I
that.
got you.
Yeah, yeah. Like, for me, that was motivational. Like, yeah, and just
But
the
then
way
who
they
did you listen to?
I listen to like a lot of remixes, like old school hip hop remixes, like those Tupac remixes. Um, they go really hard, man. I'll send you some, like Eminem, Tupac, Biggie.
Biggie? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. There's a few guys.
Nas.
I'm not sure, bro. I'll send you the links. I'll send you a couple links. You can
Yeah,
see
send me,
like
send me, send me, send me,
there.
send me some of the old school hip hop that you're listening to.
Yeah, there's some sick songs. I don't listen to anymore because I don't use YouTube anymore. But damn, I gotta hop back on because those were really motivational for me back then, especially in the gym days. And
Yeah, yeah, I've got you. I've got you. So with the whole, because again, you know, I've been just like indulging into Kanye's content, you know, for the last couple of days, right? Just like in terms of him just like breaking records and so forth, you know, and then I was looking at this whole thing about like the Wireless Festival and the sponsors pulling out and the Prime Minister then speaking out in public to say that Kanye is not allowed to get into to the UK, and I think they already sort of officiating that with immigration to say he shouldn't be allowed into the country, right?
yeah,
And I'm thinking about it, right? Do you think there's a double standard between like racism and being anti-Semitic? Because, and I'll tell you why I asked that, right? Because I feel like there's a lot of racism that goes on around, just like different, people of a different skin color, um, um, just been racist to other cultures, different race, and all those sort of things, right? But I feel like that's never made a big thing, right? And it feels like being anti-Semitic, it's a way much more bigger wrong than someone just being racist. I'm not sure if I'm making sense.
yeah. You make sense. Yeah, you make sense.
Like I'm saying, like they could have been. I'm sure there's a lot of there could have been like a lot of like big artists that could have, maybe they're not racist. Don't get me wrong, but maybe they've made sort of like some sort of racist remix, and that was just like let slid under a rug, you know, and Kanye comes out and says all this stuff that's like very hateful to Jewish people, which he's apologized about. Yep, he bought an ad on the New York Post to apologize to the Jewish community.
Oh, okay.
But it's still been sort of punished for it.
Okay. I see. Uh,
Yeah, so I guess my question to you is that do you from a public point of perspective, do you think people look at that equally, or do you think there's a double standard to it to say and being anti-Semitic is just like a way bigger thing than just being racist?
I think, okay. So from a social point of view, from what I see on social media, Instagram, stuff like that, I actually feel like being anti-Semitic is more easy and more encouraged than than being racist towards, like, for example, if I was to say something bad about black people, like that would be more likely to get me canceled. Whereas if I was to say something against Jewish people, it would be like people would just be like lining up in support. Right now, socially on social media, in the eyes of the public.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like official deals where money's involved, big companies, brands, that's when I
Yeah.
notice that it's more like what you're saying, where it's like you can kind of have opinions about other races and be okay, but as soon as someone criticizes Israel or the Jewish culture, then they experience that's when they encounter a little bit of resistance. Like there was a guy who kind of does like
Okay.
YouTube videos where he'll like do some crazy stuff. He'll go to like some place and he'll do some experience something crazy, right? So like for example, he went to India and he went to like the poop throwing festival, and that just so it made like in India look really bad, and everyone in the comments was like, "This place is like
You went
India."
to the,
What's that?
sorry, you went to the what?
He
You
went
went
to
to what?
India and then he went to a poop throwing festival where they throw like cow manure at each other and like bathe and like roll around in it. I don't know what they do, man. I didn't watch the whole video. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, it made India look very bad, right? And so it's kind of like people look at that and you can look at that and be like, yeah, that's racist towards India. And I think he has a few other, he goes into different cultures and communities.
But there's such a festival. There's such a festival in India.
Yeah, there is a festival. Yeah, I think
Okay, okay.
it happens like in one town. Yeah, and that could very easily be presumed as racist though, because they only went to one town, and it's just like most of India is just normal people. That would never happen. But you go to like this one town, and now everyone's like, "Yo, India's disgusting." And then there's like a guy, there's like a clip of one guy like eating it. And it's like it's just one guy, you know what I mean? Like if I went to America, would I say, school shooting is part of the culture? I don't know. But anyways, back on topic. Yeah, so that guy did a piece in the Jewish community, and that was when immediately after he did that piece where it was like he exposed like the Jewish people for like taking advantage of government benefits, the population. I don't know what he did. He exposed a bunch of stuff. I didn't watch. I'm not into this guy. I don't even know his name, bro. But
Yeah.
yeah, he did something against that, and then immediately he got canceled. And then he made a video on that about how he got canceled and like he got demonetized completely because of that reason. So I don't know.
Okay.
I'm obviously
So
not in this scene. I don't know. I don't. I feel like, for example, my take on Israel is a lot more tame because I'm actually, when you talk about BLM, if you talk about COVID, if you talk about these things, they affected me directly. I can see it exactly for what it is. But
yeah.
this topic, I know a little bit less. I don't. I'm
No, no,
not.
but I mean, you made a great point. So which so you made a great point of which you mentioned that when like when one has been anti-Semitic, uh, the biggest thing that can happen there, and I think then it also brings us to understand as to who's running this massive companies now. You know, so when you've been when you say anti-Semitic remarks, and if you're in a position whereby you're very dependent on corporate, basically, you can find yourself getting cancelled because I think so. What happens in those particular cases is that it's Jewish people that own these companies. So I'm taking it's Jewish people that own a Pepsi. It's Jewish people that own Diageo. It's Jewish people that owns the other company, which I've totally forgotten as to what the name of the company is. But they've also pulled out of the as a sponsor. Which all of this is kind of just making it it's just making it seem like Kanye might just get pulled off as a headliner from the event. Because maybe the event might just come to a point to say, hey, listen, in order for the event to make money, we need sponsors. But then to your point, I guess maybe if you've been racist, like generally, what do you say? Like people will, you get a lot of bash. You get a lot of people maybe bash you, like the general public, you know. But if you become anti-Semitic, maybe some people might just encourage you. I don't know, or maybe some people may just support it. But essentially, if you're still very much dependent on either making content on YouTube and things like that, and you become like way viral in terms of your messaging, YouTube will think they'll ban you or they'll ban your channel.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Like for example, like the Andrew Tate situation, I feel like maybe kind of illustrates like the thing is like for example, he didn't say he's you know he doesn't think.
anti-Semitic.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
thing is, he just said that he doesn't want to be like fully extremely like HH, like he just wasn't part of that. But it doesn't mean that he's strong on one side or the other. But just because he said that, a lot of public hated him. They're like, oh, he's goyim, or I don't understand the terms, but he's like he's kissed the wall, stuff like that. Because basically he's just like, I don't want to be in a setting where that song is played. So I think
God.
that perfectly illustrates my point of like the public is very much they have their pitchforks ready.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's true. That's true.
What do you
Are
think?
you? How do you? How do you stay tapped in with the things? Are you? Are you? Where do you normally get a lot of your information from? Are you getting it from what is it? Twitter, YouTube? Because
Mostly
I don't have Twitter currently.
you use Twitter. I mostly use Instagram
No,
and
I don't have
YouTube.
Twitter currently. I don't have
Oh,
it.
okay.
I don't have it.
I don't use
Yeah,
Twitter, bro. I get it mostly like Instagram and YouTube.
Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's where you mostly. I got you,
What
got
about
you.
you?
And then TikTok. Are you very much on TikTok, right?
I use it a decent amount, but I feel like I don't really get news there. This is where you get like the influencer garbage, and then you get like some like cool reels, like, but it's mostly like entertainment. It's not like news and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think TikTok is more for the vibes. If you want to detox,
Yeah.
if you want to detox, and
I don't know about detox,
I
but
think
yeah.
that's yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about detox, but
And
yeah.
then no, yeah. And then what is it? Instagram is more for. I mean,
Yeah,
Instagram is
social.
also entertainment, but you can still get news there as well, right? You'll still get news.
I really gotta hop on Instagram. I feel like every time I use it, I get a lot of positive feedback, and like people reach out to me. Like TikTok takes a lot of effort to get to that point. Now in Vietnam, they use TikTok more than Instagram, so it's happening a little bit better. But yeah, like just for social proof and outreach, I feel like there's kind of a mental block too when it comes to entrepreneurs and nomads. Like because your Instagram has all your personal friends from like the past, right? So it's kind of weird to be posting like your hustle and stuff on it. It's like a mental hurdle to get. It's not weird, but it's like a mental hurdle to get over. A lot of people, they experience that when they first try to start their brand. I don't know if you started posting on Instagram or not, but I hope you understand what I mean when I say like, yes, TikTok, you start a brand new account, you don't have to add any of your old friends. You can just start posting right away, and it's you kind of just take off from there and learn as you go. But yeah, Instagram, for
Yeah,
example, you mentioned the connection you made with that woman that you didn't end up seeing, but yeah, I have a few of those now on Vietnam, but I can only imagine like on Instagram it'd be way more if I posted regularly. Like people would be reaching out all over the place.
yeah. I think one of the things that I've noticed, and I don't do it. It's so when I start a business, I'm not starting a business for my friends, because I think, one of the things that I've picked up is that it's very difficult for people that know you, to support your business. So essentially you just want to create something of value and just give it to the public.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah,
people
yeah.
that will see sort of value in that thing will buy into that service, or they'll buy into that product. So if your Instagram is filled with a lot of like people that you grew up with and all those sort of things, I could kind of see that as been a little bit of a wall in terms of you feeling like you can build something lucrative off that, and you could potentially, or like, get your idol clients, because you're thinking, because you've got a certain perspective about the people that you grew up with, right? You think there's a certain perspective that you have about them, but then that if you're creating something off like a pure platform where nobody knows you, and people just either like or dislike your stuff just based on your content, that's that's just a better place to create,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
nobody has like any sort of personal feelings towards you because they don't know you.
Exactly. And that's exactly what TikTok and versus Instagram is to me. That's the biggest difference. And that's why I haven't used Instagram, even though it seems, to me at least, a lot more powerful. So I got to get over that mental hurdle. The thing is, I've never really done it. I have started a little bit. I've never really committed to it though, because YouTube's always been my main focus. So it's always just keep, every time I think about starting Instagram, it's just like, hold on, YouTube is just way more higher leverage. So
So the shorts that you put out on YouTube, the only other place outside of YouTube that you post them or put them out on is TikTok.
no, actually, I only do it on YouTube. Um, I was thinking about doing it on
Yes.
TikTok. I actually scheduled it to release starting yesterday on TikTok, like daily. But the thing is that the content that I'm posting is already doing decently well, and it's already like I already kind of have like this image of posting this content for like 2 years. So now I don't want to introduce this whole new like Opus Clip me talking head videos into that because it kind of doesn't mix well. Like, again, it's a kind of the it's like I'm gonna experience like a lot of mistargeting with my posts.
I've got you. I've
Yeah.
got you. You more just want to focus on YouTube for now, and then
Yeah, I'm gonna send you a video about.
like,
It's gonna talk about niche and targeting and why it's really important to us to stay on one platform actually. So I'll send you that video. It's actually a lot of insight, and that's very good for entrepreneurs like us who are trying to grow on social media. But
yeah, I think definitely do share it with me, please. Because I mean, obviously, at the moment, what we're doing is that we're posting on two platforms. We're posting on YouTube and we're posting on TikTok. Haven't really been that active on TikTok, but then we are posting on TikTok as well. But I could kind of get that. Maybe just building off one platform, and
yeah,
then once it gets to like a certain point, then that's when you sort of translate it into every other thing else.
hmm,
But maybe try get it figured out and build it to a point that you may be a little bit proud about yourself to say, oh wow, this is what I've done on this particular platform, and then maybe look at all the other platforms.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Do we have time for one more topic?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you down to talk about dating? Dating in traveling around Asia, traveling as a nomad. I know you mentioned talking about the motorbikes and picking up the girls.
Yeah, come on, man. You know what I'm talking. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about, Bish. Like yeah.
By the
But
way, like, I,
elaborate a little bit on the yeah.
yeah. So, what's your experience as dating, and do you feel like being a foreigner gives you an advantage, or is it like a disadvantage? Is like a stigma against you as being a foreigner in this country, and like trying to date a local person, or even trying to date expat? Do you feel like there's an advantage or disadvantage? What's the difference that you experience?
Um, I kind of feel like it's a grind. It's a hustle, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So a grind in the sense that you have to. It doesn't come easy, you know. You
Mm-hmm.
have to work towards, the person that you want to be with. Um, but how I feel dating in a, like foreign country, whether that be dating a local person or just any other person that's, traveling into the country, is that because I'm black, um, uh, I'm at the bottom of the funnel. So I have to work 20 times harder, than a person that's like from a different type of race, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah, yeah.
when it comes to the dating pool, So I, my love making has to be way much more on point as compared to someone from like a different race, you know, and maybe, you know, sort of just like my position in life as well has to be, again, at a 20 times better position than, say, a white guy or something, you know?
Yeah.
So, it's, so essentially it's difficult, you know, like you just gotta you just gotta grind it, and you gotta work 20 times harder as compared to, say, a white guy that's still trying to find themselves. They're not even doing anything. They're just wandering in that country.
Yeah.
They're still trying to figure out as to what to do.
Yeah, but he's getting all the bitches.
Yeah, they'll get the finest woman, basically. You know, and you out there, you've got yourself figured out, you've got your business, or you've got your businesses, you know exactly as to what you're doing, you creating content and all those sort of things, you know, but you still gotta work 20 times harder, and you still gotta show that, hey, I'm this type of person as well. I'm not trying to find myself. I figured myself out. I know exactly what I'm doing, you know. So I'm the better guy to be with. You know, this guy's still trying to figure himself out. So you don't want to, you know, get yourself involved in all of that. You know.
Yeah.
You'd rather be with me as a guy that's got it figured out, and you know, we're just gonna shoot to the moon.
Yeah.
Or something. What's your experience?
Yeah. So for me, you know, especially in Thailand, I feel like, yeah, I do experience something similar where it's kind of like, you know, sometimes, yeah, girls do find me handsome, whatever. But I find that, yeah, a lot of the times, yeah, they kind of prefer or chase after. In a lot of cases, they chase after, but even if they're not chasing after, they do greatly prefer, you know, a white guy. You know, that you know, having white skin is like +2 on that looks out of 10 scale, it feels like.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, there's a lot of cases where, you know, I don't see it that way too. But there's definitely, and I don't know to how much of a degree, but there's definitely a lot of cases where, you know, it does feel like, you know, twice the effort for half the results is an understatement. You know, it's an understatement, really. Like you said, 20 times is hard. Sometimes it does feel like, you know, no matter what, you can't get that, you know, the ideal girl that you're talking about.
But now, you saying that you've seen the total opposite sometimes?
Not the total opposite. There's just sometimes where I've seen, maybe there's sometimes where I've seen the total opposite. Not the total opposite though, in terms of they like me because of my race or skin, but just because they just like me because, you know, maybe it didn't play any factor at all.
Now, okay, let me ask you this question, right? So let me just put up a scenario to you, right? You meet up with an idol 10 out of 10 chick that you want to be with, right? She's beautiful.
That wouldn't happen.
She's got this.
No, I'm joking.
She's got the skin tone. You know, she's got the skin tone that. So physically, she's a 10 out of 10 chick, right?
Yeah.
Remember, you're gonna date someone because of how they are physically, and the abstract value is just as important as well, right?
Okay.
Like their personality, you know, are they kind and so forth. You know, I think you've met, you know, things like that, right? So you meet a 10 out of a 10 chick in terms of like physical beauty, right?
Yeah.
And you're getting to know this person, right? And you find that a preference is a white-skinned person or like a white-skinned man, right? Yeah. So you pick that up in your conversations with it, right?
Yeah.
This is like in terms of, so now you getting to know her as a person. So you get to, okay, you know, this person is like this. I mean, she's still talking to me, but then it looks like a most sort of preferred type of guy would be a white guy, right?
Okay.
And then eventually she likes you for who you are.
Okay.
Are you happy? Are you happy with that? Or do you feel, what's your perspective to that? Are you happy with that? Or do you feel like you playing second fiddle, or do you feel like you some sort of a compromise?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
You love, but then in a compromised way, it's just like, okay, cool, I'm dating Beach, but ideally, you know.
Yeah, you would have been my first choice. Yeah.
I would have liked to get Michael or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, that's a very good question. That that's a very good question. I think that scenario wouldn't happen to me because for me, I find that, I'm very polarizing with women. I'm not
Yeah,
usually like friends with girls. That like almost never happens naturally.
yeah,
I think part of it might be because, socially I'm a bit, I don't know why it doesn't happen, but I've never really been like
yeah,
kind of just friends. Like I can speak to women like friends, like, hey, how
yeah.
are you? Like, for example, you meet them at the beach, whatever, but they've never been like a friend. So it wouldn't be that situation where, she slowly comes to like me. I don't think that would happen. Like, um, but
Are you okay being liked and loved in that manner?
yeah, so if you said like, if it feels like she's settling for me, I don't think so. No, like I don't want to be,
So
second.
she's loved you over time. This is like a slow build up to that. She's loved you. She's taught herself to love you. She's taught herself to love you
Like
over
fully.
time. Just because you guys have hung out like a couple of times, and yeah,
Yeah, like fully though, like now she doesn't have that mentality of, oh, like she prefers white guys. Like she like changed. Like she's fully switched her mentality to the point where like I'm her ideal guy now. Is that what you mean? I think that
no, no,
that that she still prefers
yeah,
a white.
yeah,
Then
continue.
I don't think so because the thing is, yeah, like I think that kind of energy you can always pick up on. You can always tell, she might see like her ideal guy walking by, whatever race he is, and now she's like kind of looking at him. You can always kind of tell, and you can always pick up the kind of energy just in subtle things. And for me,
Yeah, in small
I
things.
think a
Yeah,
lot of
that's true.
guys like us, we don't want to feel like we're being settled for. I don't know. I think,
Yeah,
yeah, like it's not a good feeling as a guy. You want to be that girl's everything. And so,
yeah, 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 exactly.
yeah, I don't think I'd be okay with that. Now, if she's changed fully, like now you're her ideal guy in every way, then I think I would be okay with that, as long as she fits my mold of an ideal girl as well, right? So,
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
True.
In terms of the reality of the situation, though, I don't think it would. I'm not friends with girls, like I said before, but yeah, if
Yeah,
that hypothetically, um,
yeah. But I mean, it's also quite a difficult thing to uh
I hope I answered your question
know.
clearly.
Yeah, it does. It does answer
Okay.
my yeah, it does answer my question. So I think with the same there as well, right? I also wouldn't feel like I also wouldn't love to know that I just don't want to be compromised. You know,
Compromised?
I don't think I yeah, like in the sense that I wouldn't want to feel like this person is, this is a compromised type of love.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
She
Settle
had
for
to
you.
learn to love me because yeah, to settle, or maybe she feels like she's settling for less
Yeah, okay,
by
okay.
being with me. But then
Yeah.
because I was like the only guy available, she's just like, you know what, I might just, do this life thing with this guy because, this is the guy that's like showing me interest, like as much as it's not maybe my idol type of person. So I think anytime that I interact with a person and I feel that energy and aura that they prefer like a white guy over, a black guy, over a guy like myself, I just don't entertain that because, again, I'm not looking for that type of love.
Uh-huh.
And I guess like in my mind as well, I never think, but I also don't want to be, I don't want to be some sort of hero. I don't want to be the guy that changes a mindset. You know,
Yeah.
um, so if I feel that type of energy from her, in most cases, I'll just normally just break away from that and not pursue the person. I'm more look. The person that I'll pursue would just be a person that I feel like she's very comfortable being with anyone, or she's comfortable being with me. You understand? And she's happy, and she sees me as being that ideal person as well. But then once I get the other vibes, then I cut off that relationship.
Yeah, you know what? You're right in a lot of sense. Yeah, like if you feel like, she preferred this that wasn't you, and especially in a shallow way, kind of way, it's kind of like even if she changes her mind, it's like now she's coming back after she's already um, made up her mind. Now she's coming back. She's settling for you. So in a way, I see that point of view. Yeah, like You know, even if it's only her mindset. Like if I find out, like I'll be honest, like if I find out, you know, she's chased after, you know, let's say white guys. She's chased after white guys and, you know, she's been with a few white guys and then she realized, oh, it's not great, it didn't work out. And now she's coming and be opening her mind. To me, that I'm not that, you know, that's too late, you know, that's too late. Like I'm not going to be happy with that. But if it's, you know, only her, you know, she's just being like this dumb girl. She just has this mentality, oh, I really like white guys. But, you know, she didn't actually um, you know, be with them. It was just like her ideal guy in her mind. But then after she met me, everything changed. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. As long as, you know, it's not something that she was involved in. If it was just a mentality, a mindset, because of the way she grew up and because of, you know, her parents and her upbringing. Um,
Then,
yeah, basically,
then you totally,
yeah,
yeah.
I would be okay if it was only like her mindset. And then as she met me, she's like, wow, this guy's amazing. I changed my mind completely. I'll be okay with that. But
Okay, and then okay.
if she's like you said, she's settling for you. Like she already went and experienced a bunch of white guys. She chased after white guys. She's chasing like this dream that wasn't a reality. And then she's kind of okay. She realizes it's not the thing that she wanted. She comes back. At that point, no, it's too late, right?
Cool. And just a quick one on that as well. Have you been in those type of situations? Have you pursued a woman that you like, whether you guys met online on a dating platform, took it offline to meet up in person, and just based in terms of like that person's energy, their aura, their communication, you pick it up to say, okay, cool. Yes, I am on a date with this person, but it doesn't seem like I'm their idol type of guy physically, in terms of, you know, like skin wise, in terms of them dating. Has that been something that you've experienced? And normally
Um,
when you do experience it, what's your reaction to that?
okay, okay. I think on dating apps, no, I don't experience that. Like when I meet someone, they're typically, you know, into me. You know,
Okay.
you know, yeah. When I do experience it is like, you know, when you notice, when you try to talk to girls sometimes in public or like sometimes you try to talk to someone, you know, you meet at the cafe or somewhere like that. And it's kind of like, you're not even like trying to pick them up or anything. You just say like hello or just a smile. And it's almost like they're pretending like you don't even exist or like you're wasting their time or something like that. Yeah, to me that kind of
Got you.
yeah, to me, you know, you can never say for sure it's racism, but that's the kind of the thing about, you know, stereotypes, racism. The thing is you can never say for sure, right? Like unless they're telling you, oh, I don't like you because you're brown. Like no one's gonna say that, right? They're just going to like, you know, pretend you don't exist, whatever, brush you off. But you have a pretty good idea, you know, like that's probably because of what I look like. Like if I look different, like she would probably treat me differently in
You're a
this
little
kind of
bit
situation.
receptive.
Yeah.
So you have experienced that. So you have been in, you know,
Well,
instances whereby you
well, not
say hello to someone and then
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Like you were saying off of a dating app. I don't think I've met up with someone for a date in that kind of situation, really. I think the people I meet up
Yeah, yeah,
with are typically very into me.
yeah, yeah, yes. Okay.
Maybe also because we text a
Yeah.
lot before, but you know,
Yeah, you guys have gotten to know one another. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so I've had those experiences as well.
where it's kind of
Um,
like, you know,
and
you feel like you're being treated differently because of your race, you mean, right?
yeah, it's nothing to do with the dating platform. I think the dating platform, you're right. You know, you would have matched up with someone, so maybe there's a little bit of an initial interest there. You
Yeah.
know, between the two of you. You know, but I'm just speaking like just in the sense of you maybe just walk in, you know, going to get food, or maybe you're working at a cafe, and then you know, you meet you see someone that you think they're beautiful, and you know, you try, you know, struck a conversation with them, and they're just not receptive, you know.
100%, yeah.
And maybe their look somehow as well looks a little bit disgusted sometimes, or like they look annoyed or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, like what
Or
the hell,
sometimes
bro?
they just don't react. Yeah,
Yeah, it's just like what the hell, bro? Like I'm a human too, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like what's going on here? Like you don't even have to like just say hi. What the heck?
yeah. And sometimes you know, sometimes you're not even or sometimes they don't even show any sort of, you know, sense of emotion. You know, it's just as if, you're in two different worlds, you know, like they can't hear you, you know. It's
Hmm.
like hello, I'm saying hello to you
Yeah.
or whatever, right? And it's just like maybe,
Yeah, it's
and
like
they just like
less than a human or
yeah.
something. They treat you like that.
So yeah, no, I've definitely experienced that a lot. And like you say, normally what happens there is that the first thing that I'll think about is, oh, is it because of my, you know, is it because of my race?
Hmm.
You know,
Even if sometimes it
is
might
it
not be the
because I'm black?
case. Yeah,
You know,
even if sometimes it might not be the case, you
even
just,
those
yeah.
exactly because you know, but then that's your first sort of, I want to say, defense mechanism or
Hmm.
your saved spot. Your saved, you know, your thoughts will take you into that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and yeah, I definitely, that is one of my first thoughts as well. Not my, yeah, like, yeah, I think it is, yeah.
Yeah,
Because it's like, what else
but
is
yeah,
the reason? Like, I feel like it's
exactly
like you can
right.
imagine like a more attractive, lighter skinned person saying, doing the exact same thing. Like, that would play out entirely differently. You can only imagine.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, yeah, definitely. But yeah, you know, this goes back to, I guess, and I guess, you know, I think you're agreeing on this to say that, you know, unfortunately, you know, you gotta be working 20 times harder sometimes, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
You just gotta be like a really standout guy, you know, like you gotta be very noticeable, you know. You either, you know, things have to be working out for you, you know, your YouTube has to be popping up maybe, you know, for them to sort of consider you as a being dateable.
mhm, yeah, yeah. I feel like,
Uh,
yeah, I feel like I agree with you. You do have to stand out more. But do you feel like in some ways it's easier to stand out more as someone of your race? Because, like, for example, for me, I feel like, I'm not Indian, but people look at me, they generally think I'm Indian, right? So
yeah.
I feel like, for example, I stand out already. Like, I think I'm doing pretty well for a man in my age, in terms of attractiveness and stuff. And obviously, you have that stigma of the dark skin, right? But I feel like, especially when you look at Indians, for example, like I feel like I stand out a lot from them. A lot of them are, they're not as onto self improvement. They're not onto as much of the gym. They're not onto as much of grinding a business, stuff like that, compared to maybe people from the West. And I don't know if you feel the same way. Maybe I just look at it. I'm just trying to find the positives. My brain always works like that.
I mean, yeah, like in my race, I think, you know, but then black is broad as well. You know, you get like,
Yeah.
you know, black people like in Africa, the States, um, you know, but
Caribbean.
yeah, but then to your point, I'll say like, you know, I'm still, you know, amongst, you know, I'm still like a good looking guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, when it comes to, you know, that's all, you know, when it comes to, you know, like my own sort of personal race, or even just like across my personal race as well, right? But I'll say that's one of the most like that'll be like a standout thingy for myself. And just being a broad-minded type of person, I think that's a plus or that's a feature.
Hmm.
Broad-minded, just in the sense of not having the most traditional perspective towards things.
Okay.
Either maybe because of traveling, maybe. You know, I think like also like even with you, if people were to be associating you with Indian people, as much as you're not Indian, I don't think I see a lot of Indians traveling. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So that's exactly, yeah, kind of my point, where it's kind of like I stand out, and
Unless if it's a yeah, unless if it's a family, it's an Indian family, but just like an Indian person just traveling, but I've never come across that.
exactly, yeah. So like I think in a way sometimes it gets me more eyes and more people to look at me more closely, and sometimes to me
Yes,
I
you
find
become
that I built myself to a point where that's a good thing. At least I tell myself that
it's a
mentally.
superpower.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a superpower, definitely. So I'd definitely say, the same in terms of just African. Not a lot of Africans travel as well. I don't want to speak so much about like, you know, black people from like the States and all of that, because
Yeah, this
I
is
don't know,
different. Yeah.
what the traveling there is like,
Yeah.
but I've met up with a few people. I mean, I think I've told you, like, when the time that I was in, it used to feel super weird initially, but in the time that I was in Ubud, sometimes I'd spend a week not even seeing a black person, and I'm thinking, what's going on here?
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
up until maybe I go to the main street where there's just like a bunch of people walking, and that's maybe when, I'll come across them and all of that.
So
You
you
know,
said it feels a bit weird to be like the only person of your race in like an entire area. Like it feels a bit.
initially when I had to first experience that, it
Oh,
was it
okay.
was weird
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because I think it was something that I picked up, or like I noticed, and I was like, hey, what's going on here?
Yeah,
I haven't
yeah.
seen any I haven't seen any other black person walking down the street or something like that, and I'm just wondering as to you. So initially, when I first experienced that, it was weird, yes, but then
Yeah.
eventually, even if you're not seeing any other black people in that particular place, then I'd still be chilled about it. But then, as a first time experience, it was something that was weird.
Yeah, man. Like I feel like I remember I had a moments like that. Like I remember in Chiang Mai, like sometimes I'd be at the park and there'd be just hundreds and hundreds of Thai people, and it's just like it's only me. And I don't think about it, right? I don't think about these things. I'm just like in there integrated. But at one time I like zoomed out and I'm like, holy smoke, this is like crazy. Like I'm the
Yeah, like you
only.
zoned out of yourself, and then
Yeah.
you had to like look and like,
Yeah.
God damn, I'm like the only Canadian person here.
Yeah, I'm the only person of my race, and I'm like even
Person,
if there
yeah,
there might be like one or two like white people, but like I'm the only one who stands out, right? Like I'm the only dark skinned guy here. I
yeah,
remember
yeah.
last year in Chiang Mai, or 2 years ago, I went to Chiang Mai to live, and in the
Mhm.
Nimen area in Maya Mall, it's like the northwest corner of the city. It's only yellow people, only like it's like mostly Thai and then like Koreans, Chinese, and I remember like I'll just be the only one who looked anything like me for like acres and acres, and it's a very crowded area. But I don't know if you
Yeah.
have any strange feelings about that. For me, I feel like I kind of got used to it because when I was a kid, I grew up in like a very white area. I remember my friend used to invite me to his birthday parties, and there'd be like hundreds of white people, and I would be like the only person who wasn't white. So I kind of got used to it in that
Yeah.
setting. So now I don't even think about it. I just live normally. I don't think anyone. And Asia is it's crazy
Yeah.
because they don't like, for how crazy it is. No one really cares. Like they kind of mind their own business. Sometimes they might look obviously because it's just like, well, what is that? But
But I think maybe that also taught you like self-confidence at a very young age. You know, people don't like being looked at uh, by a lot of people at the same time. People, you know, easily feel embarrassed and all of that. But I think if you've experienced that from like a young age, then it's something that you're able to handle. You know, like if you're in a public space and everyone is just like looking at you, you're not gonna start acting weird or anything just because a bunch of people are just looking at you. Like you've built that self-confidence to say, "Oh yeah, this is me" or whatever.
yeah,
If
for
you know,
me, I would say I never had self confidence growing up. I was like very timid, very shaky and shy. But
yeah,
it did get me used to standing out because one thing is like I feel like I've always stood out wherever I went, like whether
yeah,
intentionally or unintentionally. Like I grew up in a white area, and now I'm living in Asia, so it's like I've always kind of
mm,
stood out. So it's just something that I'm used to dealing with now. The only time, actually, what's funny as a side note, the only time I didn't stand out was when I went to university, and those were the most depressing times of my life. So that's just a side note. But I remember
yeah, yeah.
even when
Gotcha. What do you study, by the way?
I studied psychology.
Psychology. Got
Yeah,
you.
didn't
Got you.
like it. Yeah,
Okay.
it was a terrible time, bro. Um, yeah, even at my work, actually, I was the only Canadian-born person in my entire team there. Everyone else was like an immigrant working at RBC.
Wow.
Yeah. So even there, I stood out. So I stood out a lot of places, and I think it's been great. I mean, I'm not great, but like, you know, I'm
Yeah.
just used to it. I'm just used to it. I don't even think twice about it. I don't know how
Yeah.
you. So how do
Yeah.
you feel about it?
About like standing out.
Yeah. No, do you not think about it as well? It's kind of just you're used to it now. It's whatever.
Yeah. So for me, I don't mind it, but I'm able to like perceive it. You know, like I'm able to
You notice it.
observe if I'm been sort of perceived as someone that's standing out.
Mhm.
But I'm pretty much comfortable with that. I think because my mom was a teacher, right? So she pushed me a lot in terms of just stuff, you know, whether it was debating, stuff like that, you know, public reading and things like that, whereby even if I'm now like in a foreign country and I'm being sort of perceived as being different, it doesn't really, like, I'm chilled with that, you know. And that's why I was saying that I think because you've always sort of stood out as a kid, because I can imagine as a kid you're a kid,
Yeah.
you know, that would have definitely indulged into your self-confidence, because then you had to be a super tough kid to still stay, or to still be in that environment whereby you're standing out, you know, because some kids will say, screw it, I'm going home, you know, because I don't know what's going on here. Everyone is just looking at me, you know.
Yeah.
But then if you stuck through it, you know, it would mean that's part of like you building, right? Like it just builds you up, and builds you up, and just builds you up.
That's right. Yeah,
By the
because I
time
do
that
remember. I do remember. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was very awkward. You know, being at that birthday party, I was like, it felt very awkward.
Would you run away?
I
Would you
didn't
run away?
I didn't run away, but
When
it just felt very uncomfortable. Like I was like, oh my gosh. Like sometimes I just wanted to like hide, like or like go somewhere where it's just like only like me and my friend and like a few other guys, like just us, instead of like meeting all these like people I don't know, and like it's like I'm clearly the only
Yeah.
one who looks different. I stand out a lot. Like people are gonna be looking and stuff. It just felt really weird and uncomfortable. But yeah, like you said,
Yeah, yeah.
it's made me grow to the point where now it's like you don't even think about it, or I don't think about it. Yeah, it's kind of like it's just whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Because, you know, the more that you're in that uncomfortable space and zone, and the more that you can take that uncomfortable looks that you get into as yourself, the more you become comfortable, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Whereby it just doesn't matter any longer, you know, whether, you know, how people are looking at you or perceiving you, you know.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's kind of like you just become confident in your own skin.
In your own skin. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But yeah, bro, I think another thing is we definitely, you know, because I've just been looking into YouTube a lot. You know, I've been looking into the war that's been going on, you know, and they say North Korea might invade South Korea.
Oh.
You know, and you remember I spoke about like South Korean women, so we definitely gotta go there before North Korea invades.
Book those tickets soon. Yeah, you're right. Well, okay.
Yeah,
Can you
yeah,
just tell me how that happened? How did you get to the point of South Korean women are like the women we got to meet? Like, so what brought you to that, and like also how did that come into your intuition or into your
South Korea women?
Yeah. So how did you find out about it, and you know what makes them really really attractive for you?
I did match once on I don't know if it was Tinder, and I was speaking to the lady on Instagram, and we were out to do a date, and she's South Korean, and I tell you not, she was like the most beautiful Asian girl that I was communicating with, or that I had the pleasure to communicate with from that perspective. And again, I think I couldn't drive at the time. I couldn't drive a motorbike.
Yeah.
She was in Chengdu, I was in Ubud, so the planning was just on and off, to a point whereby at some point she flew back to South Korea.
Oh,
Um,
so you never met her?
but we never met,
Oh,
you know.
okay.
But she was extremely beautiful, though, to be honest with you.
Okay. So you want to go
Um,
find her?
but I think at the same time, say that again.
So you want to go find her. That's why you want to go.
No, no, but then all through that, like you get there's a certain way that Thai women look, you know, like they've
Yeah.
got like sort of common features, right?
Yeah, yeah. Every race, yeah, you mean, yeah, in a way.
Exactly, sort of like Vietnamese as well,
Hmm.
Balinese, etc., you know, Malay and all those sort of things. So
Yeah.
for me, what I found is that like South Korean women sort of do it best for me over any other type of Asian
Oh,
woman.
I see. You like the features and stuff the most, yeah.
I think Vietnamese as well. I want to say
Yeah,
Vietnamese.
because
Like what
I
I've
showed you.
seen
I'm
them.
the one who put you onto that, like just last week or
Yeah,
something.
you put me,
Yeah. You didn't know
you
that?
put me onto that. So
Yeah.
I kind of do. I kind of feel like you're in the hub of like right now, like your life is like super super balanced, in the sense that you can hustle and build like this massive business and still get like your ideal partner as well, because yeah, like just Vietnamese women are just super super beautiful.
Yeah, so is that the point you're at right now when you're in your dating, like where you're trying to find kind of your ideal, like where are you at? Like, are you trying to find your wife right now? Like, or like you're open to finding your wife? Like, if you meet the right girl, that's it. You might just lock it in, type of deal.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But not have kids though. I wouldn't want to have kids immediately. I don't know. Like there's sometimes whereby, yeah, I know they say kids are a blessing, but for me it's just like for me I'll find like a kid as a blessing for me if I've planned them. Otherwise it's just an inconvenience.
Ah, yeah.
You know. So yeah, I would love to like find like an idol partner, um but then just do stuff with them,
Okay, yeah, you
do
do.
stuff
You
with
did
them.
mention that last time. Yeah, you do kind of want a woman
Yeah,
who's more of an
and
equal partner
then
in some
yeah,
ways.
just do stuff with them. Yeah, just do stuff with them, and then family thing, just like in the future and all of that. Oh, by the way, Sarah just sent us a thing, so I'll send it through to you now, and then we'll see as to what it looks like.
Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. So
And
yeah,
then same question to you.
yeah. So for me, yeah, because I think you're a bit older than me, so I'm a bit younger.
Yeah,
For me, I'm not really looking to settle down just yet. I'm open to meeting, women and dating, and maybe if
yeah,
she's really perfect and I'm dating her for a long time and she's still there, in a few years, then maybe yeah, I'll lock it in. For me, honestly, the reality of the situation is like in terms of my business, it would be way better for me to just stay clear of women right now. But the thing is, yeah, obviously, you do things like semen retention, you do no fap, you're on this grind. Of course, you want to meet women, you want to talk with them. It's just a natural part of being a man. And also another thing is speaking to women, meeting women is also part of self development as a man. It's easy to avoid women. It's hard to go up to a woman and speak to them if you see them an attractive woman at the beach or somewhere like that. So I do keep them in my circles, but if you were to really ask me what do I want, I would say, I just want to focus on my business right now. I don't want to, get a woman too involved just yet. I'm 27. I'm still trying to grind that up, build my business, and then maybe I can look into doing something like that later.
yeah.
For you, like you have obviously you have to think about kids, right? Like you did mention kids, so like you have to date ideally or marry a woman significantly younger than you, right? Like probably. Well, actually, I don't. I'm not too sure. What are your thoughts on that?
So you say what's the question?
I said if you want to have kids, right? You're planning to have kids at some point in the future. Like you probably have to date or marry a woman that's like a good amount younger than you, right? Like she probably like, you don't want to meet another 32-year-old right now if you don't want to have
Yeah,
kids for another like
yeah, yeah,
2 3 years, right?
yeah, 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 yeah. You're definitely right. So I'd say,
Do you have a range or a
but I
maximum?
haven't really thought about it.
Okay, okay.
In terms of like the age of but I'd want uh I'd say like obviously someone that's like younger than me.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, But I see like I used to follow like Spencer. I used to watch like Made in Chelsea. I'm not sure if you know it. It was a show like on TV and all of that, like with just like kids from like uh, London. So there's a guy called Spencer Matthew. I'm not sure if you know him. Spencer Matthew, very popular. Um, he's got a podcast, but he was on the show called the same show, Made in Chelsea, and he was just a douchebag,
Hmm.
you know. But it's one of it's like your Jody show or your Jesse show type of shows.
Jersey
You know, like
Shore.
Jesse show from the United
Yeah,
States,
yeah.
where it was just like a bunch of
Degenerate show.
people in one house and they were just
Yeah.
doing stuff, and there was just been videographed and all of that, and that was what that was.
Okay. I see.
So Made in Chelsea was sort of the same thing, but they're not staying in the same house. Everyone is staying at their house, but they're being sort of documented, and you kind of just see as to how they sort of live their lives and all of that. But he, like the person that is with now, what's her name? She's also popular. Okay, I'm forgetting what her name is, but she's like 2 years older than him. So sometimes then you kind of think, oh, that stuff happens as well, right? Whereby you could meet a person and she's like 2 years, 3 years older than you, and you still think, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you don't disqualify yourself at the moment. Yeah, in the moment, right? Like you kind of like
Yeah. So
you're kind of like, why will this
yeah.
work?
So
Instead of why won't it work? That's how guys are, I think. We kind of just are like, yo, how can we make this work?
exactly,
And then
exactly. So
yeah.
ideally, someone that's like preferably younger than me, but like even with my ex, of which I could, oh, I would have settled down with her, but she was like a year older than me. you know.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and we were like in a relationship for like 6 years.
Oh wow, is this the Italian woman?
You got it. I
Okay,
tell you
okay.
everything, right?
Yeah. I mean, I remember that. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah. So she was like a year older than me and all of that. Yeah.
Cool, cool. Yo, I have one more question before we can wrap it up. But
Yeah.
do you know about like the stigma of, South Koreans being kind of like really racist? Like they're like kind of like the racist Asians. Have you heard of that before?
South Koreans?
Yeah, you never heard of that.
You telling me that my idol potential?
Yeah, yeah, they're gonna.
It's like
Yeah, I'm like, damn, do you never know about
you
this?
just waited for like 5 minutes to crush my dreams.
No, I think the ideal woman. I think there's a lot of good women there too, though, who aren't racist.
I've
Um,
never heard of that. I've never heard of it.
yeah, man, they're the most.
But
Actually, there was a recent beef that happened on the internet as well. I don't know if you know about that as well. It was like basically
nah, tell me about it.
It was South Korea
Tell me
versus
about
like basically all the rest of Asia, especially Southeast Asia. It
it.
started because there was like a fight that happened, and then South Korean said something like, "Oh, this always happens when we go to like lesser countries." They're posting those in the comments, and then
Oh, snap.
you gotta realize a lot
Lesser
of
countries did.
yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta realize a lot of South Koreans are racist. Like they look down on other Southeast Asian countries. They're like, we're the lighter skinned people, we're the more civilized people, we're more
Developed country.
gentrified, developed. Yeah, like they look down on a lot of, not all South Koreans,
Ah,
but yeah, this is a thing. This is a thing. And so
that's a
yeah,
thing.
yeah, that's a thing. You didn't know about that? You gotta know about that. Yeah, there's a lot
It's
of
quite interesting, bro.
it is. I mean, it's definitely something worth knowing. But yeah, South Koreans, yeah, a lot of them are cool though as well, especially the ones you meet while traveling. But anyways, yeah, so there's a massive fight because now South Koreans, they try to call on Chinese and Japanese people to help them out because they kind of look at Chinese, basically Southeast Asians are kind of looked as like the dark skinned Asians, whereas like the East Asians like Japan, China, Korea, they're like the more lighter skin, right? So they're trying to call, and they're the more civilized kind of places, right? So they're trying to
Yeah.
call on Japan and China to help them out in this battle against Southeast
Battle.
Asia, but no, they're just the Chinese and Japanese were like, no, nah, man, we're not with you on this. So basically, it was just everyone jumping on each other. It's just everyone jumping on South Korea, and South Koreans
You
basically.
did mention something quite interesting there, which it may sound or seem like it's pretty much, well, I mean, for me it's not like I know, something that I knew, but yeah, you're right. So
I hate these
South,
racial dynamics. By the way, I'm just saying what I know to be true, not that I like it.
yeah, not that you encourage it to happen, but it's just like
Yeah,
to just, speaking on what's going on. But yeah, South Korean women, Japanese, Chinese are the lighter version of the Asians, right?
yeah. They're East Asian, so they're kind of like half a race away from Southeast Asia, like with like they're definitely like Thai and Philippines, for example. They're a lot more common than like, for example, with the Chinese or like Japanese. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's something that I hadn't noticed. But now that you've mentioned it, I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh, I see.
No, to be honest with you, like, yeah,
Yeah.
just
You
even
thought you thought they're just all yellow people.
yeah. But then now that you've mentioned it, it's dawned on my mind that every
Bruh.
time I see like a Japanese person or like a South Korean person, Chinese person, they in most cases lighter or like they lighter, they a little bit lighter than the Thai. But I think Vietnamese are also light.
Yeah, Vietnamese are actually very light. I think
Yeah.
Vietnam is part of Southeast Asia, but ethnically and culturally, they're way more closer to China. Like their custom, they
Yeah.
celebrate the Chinese New Year. Not they call it different. It's a different name and everything,
It's a different thing,
but
yeah.
it's very to me it's very similar as an outsider. And
Yeah.
yeah, in terms of like their food, their customs, their norms, and just the way they look, their ethnicity. Yeah, you're right. It's a lot closer to East Asia. It's a lot closer to China.
I've got you. I've got you. But yeah, interesting thing, interesting point there. Uh,
Yeah,
and yeah,
more to talk
thank
about
you
next time.
for yeah, thank you for letting me, just educating me about things South Korea as well.
Yeah, you gotta
At
know
least,
that. You gotta know these racial dynamics. You said they're the most
yeah,
racist
when I
Asians.
step in there, yeah, when I step in there, and I'm trying to, put on my game and all of that, and I'm just getting deflected and getting ignored and all of that. At least I would have built up, at least I would have been knowing that, there's a bigger chance that that could be a thing because, you know,
Yeah. Obviously, the
the,
individual beats the stereotype. So you met a nice girl, and there are lots of nice people from there. But
mm,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, that's true. I think we're good.
yeah, man, I think we're good. Yeah, it's like a long podcast. Yeah.
But I think Saru sent us let me just forward them to you now as we talking.
All right. Should I wrap up the video? Should I turn it off?